DS Lily made a video recently reviewing my top 10 league starters for patch 3.27, which by the way were just my rough predictions, with her thumbnail and title calling it bait. She mostly didn't disagree with my list and she said 3 out of 10 were not trash. Keep that in mind for later.
3 of the builds were not trash.
3 of the builds also discussed were Bama, Golemancer, and Volcanic Fissure of Snaking. Keep that also in mind for later. Some of you didn't even watch her video and rushed straight to my comments full attack mode because I featured these builds in my list. So let's address some important matters. Disrespect and opinions. Your opinion matters. I need to know what you guys think of my videos so I can make them better. That doesn't remotely mean that I will tolerate mindless disrespect in my channel. Even if your opinion is extreme, if there is some fact to it, I'm open to discuss it for as long as it takes, but not if it includes harassment. It was bad wording on my behalf. This was my top 10 list, not the top 10 list. I do not represent anyone but myself. I am not trying to bait or force anyone to play my top 10 builds. In fact, I highly encourage players to do their own research before playing any build. Why I believe they are still viable. Bama was overkill to begin with, and that was one of the reasons it was good for new players and it still is. It's one of the most popular builds, and because of the new ascendancies, which have a decent amount of minion nodes, it had to be tuned down a bit. There are still a ton of ways to scale that build, and even some new ones that could easily compensate for the loss of fresh mid support and the damage nerf. Golemancer. The nerf to the node has nothing to do with the build itself, and the only thing that changes is that the forbidden jewels may become cheaper and it will be better on a necromancer, just not as a league starter. Volcanic Fissure of Snaking was bug abusing for single target and it was hard to see when clearing, so roughly a 33% total reduced AoE seems only fair to our eyes. Lastly, many of you judge Toxic Rain for a league starter, but I already see big creators league starting it, so not much left to say. You also can't tell new and casual players to play Wonder or Instacker or builds with complex mechanics. I remember my first build was Flicker Strike because I saw a video saying that it was a good league starter, and it took me 1.5 leagues to find out the bare minimum mechanics for it to work consistently. So I would only suggest to new players very simple builds. Even if it's broken, you need some basic understanding of the core mechanics of the game to make it work. And the best way to understand the core mechanics is to play a really simple build. It doesn't have to be the most amount of damage to be a top league starter. Now about the hate, the thumbnail, and why you are apes. I don't understand how so many of you don't have their own opinion, and you base your reasoning on something that someone else said, especially when those someone else's are 3 or 4 people, when the daily player base is 50 to 200k people. Now take a look at this list. And now take a look at my list. Notice something? First of all, 6 of those builds are from my list from 10 days prior to her list. It is actually 4 of them because she splitted 2 of them into another 2 to fill the gaps. She said that
3 of the builds were not trash.
so that means one of her top 10 builds is trash? Or is my math wrong here? The 4 rest remaining are Retaliate Gladiator, which was bug abusing to deal damage and got bug fixed 1 year ago, in a similar way that Volcanic Fissure of Snaking did this league. That's interesting. I wonder if she knows. Archmage Ball Lightning. Archmage got nerfed last patch. Hierophant got also nerfed. Another nerf build, but in my opinion still viable. Wonder Warden requires some crafting for late and endgame. I wouldn't recommend it as a league starter, but it's a solid option if you know what you're doing. Definitely not a Warden though. And Poison Concoction of Bouncing, nothing to say about that. It's still a great option, it's just more flask reliant now. Let me get this straight. 6 of her builds are from my list, just swapped around a bit to seem different. 2 of them are nerfed, and 2 I got no beef with. But if I'm being attacked because I make a list before patch notes and 2 builds are nerfed, and another person is getting praised for making fun of that list, and then 10 days later copies that list, adds 2 nerfed builds, and calls it a day, and that's okay. I personally think this is a joke. There is no beef on my behalf. Lily is a big creator for a reason. This was for entertainment purposes. I will not waste any more of my time for this type of content. I already feel like I'm losing brain cells by the minute. I will make some actual PoE content with a new league. The big conclusion: wake up, grow a brain. It's free.